For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the E.T. Stand Podcast.
Welcome to the E.T. Stand Podcast, the Sharks fan podcast that gets caught out on Kiss Cam most weeks, but some weeks we get caught out on Cuddle Cam when the Sharks lose. And happy birthday and a cuddle for you, our main man, Scott Latino, 22 last week. Did you have a birthday, mate?
Yeah, it was good, mate. Had a great birthday. The Sharks made sure that happened, and it was topped off beautifully on Saturday night by the Dragons going down in the last minute.
Well, you would have enjoyed that indeed. Hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel, and more importantly, also give us a like, because we don't seem to get as many likes. And, well, that makes me sad, but also makes Franko sad. Franko, what else makes you sad?
What else makes me sad? Boilerplate sequels.
Okay, give us your best example of a boilerplate sequel. I didn't think that was what your answer was going to be, but sure.
Well, there you go. It's just what popped in the old head. Boilerplate sequels. So boilerplate sequels are, I'm not entirely sure if that's the correct term for it, but basically studios sit on a whole bunch of scripts. They, hoover up a bunch of scripts that they think are promising or any good. And if a movie comes out and it surprises them and it does well, they go to their vault of scripts. So let's say a particular action movie did really well. They go to their vault of scripts of action movies, flick through them, go, this script looks pretty good, change the name of the lead protagonist, and now it's sequel to that movie that just did well, throw it in production, let's go. As opposed to actually going to the effort of writing a proper sequel to that movie and maybe working out what made that movie a success. So
right.
Boilerplate sequel.
Is that kind of like a double debrief?
Kind of is, eh?
It's like a double debrief. All right, can someone in the comments just give us advice on, is there a Cronulla Sharks example of a double boilerplate sequel? Is that what you said? Double boilerplate sequel?
No, just a boilerplate sequel.
Boilerplate
so sequel to a movie.
You just made up the double boilerplate sequel.
Right, a good example is probably the first few Fast and the Furious sequels were just random action films that are like, yep, just change the name, the protagonist, throw in some cars, let's go, done. So there was a couple of.
What about just making the same movie again, like The Hangover 2, Franko, where they just have a popular movie and then just do the same thing again?
I mean, I'm okay with that. That's, if it works, it works. If that's what the people want, Austin Powers 2, very good example of just doing the same thing again.
Hangover 2,
as you said, yeah. So it's probably better than, as I said, just pulling a random script out of nowhere and hoping that it scratches that itch.
All right, well, let's hope that the Sharks can do the same thing as the last 2 weeks and give us a bit of a sequel, just copy and play this week against the Rabbits. We're live on YouTube and Facebook, available on audio on delay on Spotify and Apple and all of the fun places. We also have a Discord channel, which is available in the bio. So get involved in the Sharks chat during the week and during the game. The link is there in the comments. And get involved in tonight's chat too. The key comment or kind of discussion point for us tonight is the ladder predictor. Can the Sharks get fourth? Where can we finish? Where do you think we're going to finish on the ladder? I've got a pretty thorough segment for you going through some of the different things that's going on. And then lastly, don't forget the trivia is on tomorrow night at Sharks at Cronulla, hosted by yours truly. Trying to remember how to spell my name. It might be a secret question in there if you're heading down. It's Cronulla Sharks themed, of course. So I'm not hosting movie trivia or Transformers trivia or anything else. It is strictly Cronulla Sharks trivia. And I'm going to give you a segment of trivia later in the show, which got nixed because I decided that my 2009 or not segment of trivia was perhaps not appropriate for going down at Sharks at Cronulla. But we'll have a bit of fun with that one, won't we? All right, let's get into the social news with our man, Scott Latino. The Sharks social news is brought to you by our partners at Solve Accounting. If you need help with your accounts, tax time right now, then give the boys at Solve a call. They're all Sharks fans. based in the Shire, they can certainly help you out. Link for them is in the bio. Lats, what is the hot tip on Sharks social media right now?
All right, it's been all about Blake Brayley across the socials after that exceptional performance against the Roosters last Friday. His dummy half darts and eyes up footy have been absolutely scintillating these past couple of weeks. There's reports the club are looking to make Blake a Shark for life to the delight of fans across the socials. It would be absolutely amazing if this plays out. Not too sure what that means for Blake's younger brother Taj coming through the ranks, who's a very handy number 9 himself. But if he doesn't mind being understudy to his older brother, the Sharks' hooking role looks bright for years to come. There's also been reports that Blake may be named a hooker in this year's upcoming Kangaroo Tour, and it would be very well deserved. Look, surely he's rocketing right up to the top of your tiers, Boldo.
He might be top of the tiers. Franko, what'd you make of Brails? Running.
Just a quick one. I think Taj might not be pursuing a career in NRL anymore. I need to double check that. I think he's sort of decided to do something else, pursue other interests, but I'd hope to not be speaking out of turn there, but that's mail I've got.
He's going into the bobsled team. Is that what you're telling us, Frank?
Yeah, could be.
Who was the guy that went into the bobsled team?
Yeah, that was
Mark, not Mark Andrew.
It was in a parts video.
Someone.
So we did a video on the Franko did it. I'm putting you on the spot there. Franko went and researched every player that from that 2015, wasn't it, where we had those premiership winning youth teams.
10-year anniversary, yeah.
Where are they now? And one of them went into the bobsled team. It was bobsled.
Cameron Scott. Cameron Scott.
There we go.
He's attempting to get to the Winter Olympics coming up, and was going through some fundraising to try and get the equipment and gear. So yeah, good luck to him. Sorry, a bit of a bit of a detour there. Was there a questions that I've avoided now?
No, watch think of Blake Brayley in the running.
Oh yeah, look, he's been out of sight. I think everyone is really keyed into Brayley now. Officially, depending on where you get your stats, he's touched the ball more than any other player in the NRL. So you'd hope to see something from him instead of just being a shoveling rake. So it's good to see. That said, he's still got a bit to go. He hasn't got more runs than he has in previous seasons yet, but he is averaging more runs than he has in previous seasons. So he's certainly per game looking to do that a bit more. Few rounds left, so he should eclipse the other seasons in terms of a running game. I guess it depends what stats you want to look at and what sort of attributes that you think makes a good player. Back in 2020 and 2021 under John Morris, especially 2020, he had a really good season, both with his kicking game and his running game. He was in everything. I think we all remember that final against the Raiders where he went down injured, and basically that ended our season. He was on fire that game, and if he'd have stayed on the park, I reckon we win that game and at least go to the next game, next finals match. But he's certainly turning a corner. I'd like to see that kicking game come back a bit. I think I watched your debrief, Boldo, where you guys said he's kicked a couple of 40-20s this season or something, some other rubbish like that. He's only kicked one 40-20 in 2021 and one 40-20 in 2020.
I think we said we wanted to see more 40-20s is what we were actually
go back and watch the tape. It's all there. So, but yes, I'd
fair
like to
enough.
see more
I
40-20s.
go back and watch the debrief every week, Franko, 3 or 4 times, which is what everyone should be doing.
I don't know. Depends who's on, I suppose. But
I do that also. I watched 8 a couple of weeks ago, but yeah. Anyway, there are a couple.
Yeah, so he's absolutely. I think it's more to the point. His selection of when to run, and now the team is sort of catching up and being more aware to when he was running, which was the big takeaway from that Roosters game. The support coming up behind him. That is a massive change from the whole structure around what's happening around the ruck. And I, for one, welcome it. Just hopefully it doesn't become a case of, I'm going to use the term second-year syndrome because it's, normally used for second-year syndrome, but that same phenomenon can rear its head after someone has a bit of a breakout season. They start doing something differently. It works for them. They then get their names on the tip sheet of the opposition and that targeted to be shut down, and what they were doing suddenly doesn't work anymore, and they've got to try and work out a way around that. So hopefully he's got that down pat, and the rest of the team can work around him to allow him to continue this running game for the seasons ahead. But as you said, add another string to his bow with a bit more of a kicking game, and that would be great. We have seen a couple of kicks, a couple of line dropouts in the last few rounds. So keep it up, Browse. You're on track for glory.
Alrighty, our Jersey flag squad went down narrowly at the hands of the Roosters, 20 points to 18 on Friday afternoon at Shark Stadium. Preston Lane Sietu opened the scoring in the second minute before Roosters halfback Josh Durkin was sent off in the 13th minute of the match. Tries to Paul Danevsky and Nikora Williams weren't enough to keep the undermanned Roosters at bay, with misconversion by Riley Pollard proving to be the difference. The Lost Caesar boys remain in fourth position on the ladder and having a bye this week to rest and regroup. The boys go on to play the sixth place Bulldogs at 12:30 p.m. on Saturday, the 2nd of August at Belmore Sports Ground. After going into the break with a commanding 20-point lead, the Newtown Jets were run down by the Roosters, going down 26-24 at Henson Park last Saturday. An early double to Niwai Puru and a try to Michael Gabriel and Hohepa Puru. Niwai converting all 4 tries unfortunately wasn't enough to take down the fast-finishing Roosters, with a 76-minute penalty goal to Toby Rodwell proving to be the difference. The Lost Caesar Jets also remain in fourth position and go on to play the second-place Dragons at Henson Park at 3:30 this Saturday.
Stewie Campbell's calling out there's a few returns for the Jets this week, with Latz's man Malween Harodi and Big Tukes named to return. So fingers crossed the Jets can get on. It's very Sharks-esque, being a 20-point lead and then giving that one up.
Alrighty. Following the 50-point thrashing of the Canberra Raiders, our NRLW squad went down to a spirited Cowboys outfit, 16 points to 14 at Shark Stadium last Saturday. A Georgia Ravix double, a try to Cassie Stables, and Hanaway slotting 1 of 3 weren't enough to get the job done. The girls now sit 8th on the ladder and go on to play the 11th place West Tigers at Shark Stadium at 6:15 p.m. on Sunday. And a little nice little mention to Weeks, who is the younger sister of boom fullback from Canberra, KO Weeks, made her debut.
She's unlucky, the Sharks girls. They blew it right at the end. That could have easily been a try. Error-riddled performance, really. And we're going to talk about that later in the show, whether we think it's panic stations for the NRLW Sharkies girls or not. And just a point, why are they called the Cowgirls?
Good point.
You don't want to spend all that money on secondary branding, do you?
Don't have to redo the logo. Yeah, fair enough. I reckon that's probably right. All right, cool.
Alrighty, and just
Next
as I noticed that Harvey pointed out in the comments earlier, the Shark store has officially turned 1. There's no better time to stock up on your Sharks merch with loads of specials and giveaways throughout this week. Receive 20% off store-wide until Monday. Thursday night, I believe, 7 p.m, I think it may have been. Sharks NRL and NRLW players will be in attendance. So you go and get some autographs and get some merch signed. Spend over $200 in-store to go into the running to win one of 7 signed 2025 jerseys. Well, 5 now, as I believe 2 have already been won. They're giving away 1 daily until Monday.
Yeah, right. I wish my brother and I bought that flag for his flagpole later in the week. And we bought that over the weekend, so we should have waited for that one. $75 for a flag. That's going to fit nicely on the flagpole. I might go down on Thursday and check out Toby Rudolph myself, actually. So I'll go do that. Franko, I can give you 1 item for free out of the Shark store. Any item, what are you taking?
Jeez, something expensive if I'm getting it for free. Yeah,
that gold Paul Gallen boot.
Yeah. Look, short of the super warm, massive trench coat thing that I don't know when they sell it, because they're always out of stock.
They don't sell them. They sell them. Yeah, they don't sell them.
Yeah, so I'm just going to say something simple like a hat. I had a hat that I loved. One of those scenarios where I got out of the cab, left it on the back seat, literally watched it drive away, gave the company a call. Hey, mate, the cabbie just drove away with my hat. Can you tell him to turn around and drop it off? And they got my details. They called the cabbie. They called back and they said, "Oh yeah, the cabbie's had a look. You can't find the hat. Sorry, it's not there." It's like, you guys, you jokers, he can't be bothered turning around because he's got to get back into the
Was it
airport.
cabs or Ubers?
This is a cab. I don't use Uber. So probably should now, but St George cabs screwed me.
Oh, mate, give it a name. St. George.
Yep,
St. George
correct.
Cabs is never going to hold your Sharks hat. You were done.
So I lost my hat, and I've got a dodgy old Sharks hat that
Was
is
that the hat
okay,
you were
it's doing
wearing at the
job.
grand final, Franko?
That's the one that's gone, and they don't
What's the
sell them
shame?
anymore. They're all trucker hats or the
Fitted caps or
fitted caps. I want the one size fits all style cap, and they just don't have them anymore. So still waiting for a good one to come and replace my dodgy one.
Franko, that grand final, one of my lasting memories is when the Storm go ahead 12 points to 8 and you pulling your hat off and throwing it down on the seat. And I remember just looking at my mate, just thinking, you were so sad and upset thinking we'd blown it. I remember just this moment thinking, yeah, I can just feel the pain of my friend here. Just thinking, yeah, damn it. And then I was, oh, and I think that's what just made that better. So that's a bit of a bummer that you've lost that hat. So if we can find Franko an old school hat, then I was looking at the black, blue, and white undies. Thought they were pretty cool. Might buy myself some undies. Some
I thought you'd be
4XLs.
sniffing around for an NFL helmet, Boldo. There'd be surely one in there somewhere.
I might get myself an NFL helmet. That's not such a bad idea. All right, get it in the comments. What would you buy from the Shark store if we could give you any item? Do let us know. What would you go and buy from the Sharks store? All right, next segment. Ladder Predictor. I've got a cat underneath me tonight. Yeah, we're doing a Ladder Predictor with hopefully not sad Boldo. So I've gone through and looked at the NRL ladder and done used the NRL Ladder Predictor, which is a pretty useful tool. Normally it's Franko that's got the cat that's running around. I'll show you my cat.
Boldo, I was a bit concerned you were talking about me when you said you had a cat underneath you there for a minute. I was a bit offended there for a second.
No cat underneath you. So hopefully not sad, Boldo. So if you want to have a play around with the NRL Ladder Predictor, you can certainly do that. But for the benefit of you guys, I've gone and, done it all for you. So this is currently the top 10 of the NRL, with the Raiders sitting on top with 34 points. The Sharkies are currently positioned in 8th position on 24 points. 6 points off 4th, which we know is gets the second chance from week 1 into week 2. And then the Dolphins and the Roosters are on 22 points, rounding that out. So I've eliminated anyone that is below the Dolphins. I don't think the Cowboys, the Dragons, or any of those teams can make it. I think they're done. So that being said, if you then take the current NRL ladder and the top teams, you then apply that, they're all going to beat the teams that are outside the top 10. So that was what happens if you apply the points. So you give them their buys, you give them their points, then the Raiders end up on 40 points plus their buy. You've got the Bulldogs playing 4 matches against teams outside the top 10. And most notably, the Sharks have got a really favourable draw with 5 matches against teams outside the top 10. So that is going to really come in handy for us as we're working towards the finals. However, you'll notice that the Storm and the Sea Eagles, they've got heaps of matches against teams inside the top 10. So what does that mean for the draw? It means that over the coming weeks, and apologies if that's too small for you to see, you can see that the Storm pretty much every single week, around 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27, are playing teams inside the top 10. So which means their destiny is certainly in their own hands. God, this cat underneath me is seriously causing me problems. Normally it's Franko's cat. Cat's name is Reiko. So you can see there that there's a bit for us to think about as we approach the ladder. So if I switch out that and add in let's switch to that view, and then go to the Ladder Predictor, you can start to see some of the matches that are pretty important. So let's just chat these through and actually work it out. If we assume that the Storm are going to beat the Roosters, which I think is probably right, but they are missing Cameron Munster this week. It's a must-win match for the Roosters.
They're very up and down, the Storm. They're
Well,
losing
that's
to teams
true.
they shouldn't be. They're winning against teams, against good teams, and
It's a
losing
big match,
to
so we
the
can come
Eagles.
back to that match. This is a pretty big match for the Roosters. And then certainly next week's, I think it's the next match after that, actually. In round 23, the Roosters have got a match against the Dolphins there. So that match is going to be absolutely critical to determine who's going to make the top 8. Come on, Cat. All right, so let's just jump back to. What is it with stuff and me at this apartment just happening behind me? Laps that I just can't deal with. All right, Bulldogs and Seagulls. Let's give us a prediction in that one. Are the Bulldogs going to get back to their winning ways?
Oh, mate, they've got to be wary. So the Seagulls have hit a bit of form, knocking Melbourne down in Melbourne. They can't take them lightly, and the Bulldogs have only just been getting over the line of late. So I'm going to tip an upset, and I'm going to go Manly.
So if we give the Seagulls that victory, that's going to go a long way for them. So let's just keep moving forward. The Warriors, I think, will beat the Dolphins. And then the Seagulls beat the Roosters, don't they? Oh, you don't think the Warriors beat the Dolphins, Franko?
I mean, it's good that they're doing well, but there's been disruptions in their team. It's interesting to see whether or not that's just the status quo for them now, or if they're just playing a little bit of a different brand of football. They did win against the Knights on the bell off a ricocheted field goal
Which is
attempt.
very
So it's not like
fortunate.
they won convincingly. Dolphins are hard pressed with a bunch of injuries though. So yeah, probably put the Warriors down.
That's what the Warriors. Seagulls, can they beat the Roosters, lads?
They can, but I think it's a bit more dire for the Roosters, and I think the Roosters have a bit more strike power just in I guess, experience. Interesting to see if Robinson keeps going with Chad Townsend, because that didn't really
He's
work out
dumped
too
him,
well
hasn't
for him
he?
on the weekend. Has he?
He's
So
dumped him.
Sandon Smith's back in the fold?
Yeah.
So they've kissed and made up. Yeah, mate, I think the Roosters can get over the Manly.
All right, Storm over the Broncos. The Raiders will beat the Seagulls. The Dolphins and the Roosters, that's that absolutely key match. And then if the Bulldogs could beat the Warriors for us, I guess this is also what we're trying to hope is that. So you can just see these teams, they're all just kind of playing each other, aren't they? And so that's why it's just playing well for the Sharks. Storm versus the Panthers is another big one. Let's just say the Panthers get up in an upset. We really would like the Storm to win that one, though, because that just gives us a bit of momentum, keeps them away from us. The Bulldogs, if they beat the Roosters, that might knock them out. The Broncos will knock out the Dolphins. Let's say the Sharks still don't have a match. Panthers, Raiders. Panthers are in good form. Storm will beat the Bulldogs. They'll fall away. Seagulls will beat the Dolphins. And the Sharks still haven't had a match against one of the top teams. Round 26, Bulldogs versus...
Just while you're talking about against top teams and teams in the 8 or whatever, I guess it just goes to show how important those last 2 wins were for us against both the Roosters and the Dolphins, with all 3 of us sort of sniffing around that 8th position. It's almost a double win. You know, they don't get to move up. Yeah, 4-point games, exactly.
Let's give the Bulldogs the win over the Panthers. Let's go Storm over the Roosters. And then in the last round, the Storm could easily rest all their players, and the Broncos could get up there. The Seagulls might need to win and in against the Warriors, but the Sharkies won't have enough to catch them. So even if the Seagulls win that, then that'll give them enough points. And then the Sharks versus the Bulldogs. Well, the Sharks might also rest all their players because they also may not need to win. So we'll see how that goes. If we give the Sharkies the win, then maybe we can get up to. We're still sitting around 6, so we're not gonna reel in the Broncos, are we? So really, we're looking at finishing 6th.
Does it change if you say the Storm beat the Broncos in that round?
If the Storm beat the Broncos, then yes, it does.
Mate, the funny thing is any of these teams can beat any of these teams on the day. It's been going on all year. It's a strange competition this year.
I think it's just important to note that the top 4 is now out of reach.
Well, I don't know if it is.
I think the Warriors drop out. I think
If the Warriors lose to the Titans, that would certainly help. The Warriors have got some easier matches, don't they? Well, we're not letting giving them that on the Bulldogs. Yeah, Warriors are playing the Dolphins, so we need the Dolphins to do that for us. Yeah, so we need the Warriors to drop a match that we're not expecting them to drop. So actually, that Warriors win on the weekend really hurts.
Yep.
That one really hurts.
Puts into perspective those close ones we should have won throughout the year. The second grade Roosters side, Tigers, Canberra.
Raiders.
Yep.
So looking at that, Franko, where do we finish?
Oh, geez. Are you putting us down to go undefeated the rest of the season? Is that how
I think we will win every match up until the Bulldogs.
I'm going with 6th.
6th. Lads?
I'm a bit more optimistic, mate. I'm going with 5th.
You can easily
the Bulldogs.
See the...
We're coming.
You can easily also just see the Sharks lose to the Knights in the second last week and blow it for like 4th position. The Warriors lose a whole bunch of matches.
Don't forget, we've got KL Iro coming back. We've got Tom Hazelden coming back. Tapua's back this week for the Jets. We've got, carry that big bench into the finals for a chance.
Yeah, Matt's not wrong. Imagine we didn't give up that lead in Brisbane. That makes a big difference for us. So look, you can make your own assumptions. I think the Sharkies, ideally, we'd get a 5th place position against the Dolphins surely we don't want to play the Sea Eagles. Our record against them in finals is 1 from 10. We haven't beaten them for like 50 years in a finals match, so not exactly filling us with confidence. All right, that was let's remove that one as well. That was the Ladder Predictor. Can we get up to 4th? I don't know if we answered any questions for you or not, but hopefully that was a little bit helpful for you. Let's go through some of these comments, shall we? Harley correctly points out that the Shark Store is having their first birthday celebration. And there's the link to the Discord channel. Harley also calling out that Sam Stone Street was on an extended bench. I was actually watched the Sharks training this week from the hill as I was going for a nature walk. And Tommy Hazelton was back in training. He was wearing the medical vest. And Nico Hines was kicking the ball. Lots of penalty goal attempts from the right-hand side. The Sharkies were looking pretty good. Chad Smith says, can't afford to take the Rabbits lightly this Saturday. They are ravaged with injuries, but they still managed to name a reasonable side. Jai Gray is back and is very dangerous along with Jack Whiten. Dean's asking us if we can switch our sponsors with the NRLW team and have the Black Quest instead of the Red Aramax. Reasonably confident, Dean, that Aramax is paying a little bit more than Quest. So I'm going to say no to that one. Scotty McLaren in the comments saying, no wonder we haven't won another grand final because Franko lost his lucky hat.
Correct.
I think that's right. And then Dean asks, is the Shark Cage the new CWSC, the group with bubbles? I would say that Shark Cage, Dean, is a new iteration of a Shark supporters group. I wouldn't say they're the new CWSC. They're just a Shark supporters group. There were plenty of Shark supporters groups through the years, and we support all of them and welcome all of them through whatever iteration they are. And then Chad Smith just teases me and says, hilarious Boldo's ads and gats. All right, let's get into the Rabbitohs preview, shall we? The Rabbitohs preview. Let's not just book our grand final tickets yet after going through that ladder predictor, because the Sharks need to deal with a severely understrength Rabbits team this Saturday night up at Gosford. This match preview is brought to you by the best sports bar in the Shire, Miranda Hotel. If you can't make it up to Gosford, then make it down to Miranda Hotel. You can watch the game in front of the largest sports screen in the Shire. They've got wings, cheap schooners during the game, live and loud. Get amongst it. We're looking to do an event, a watching event down at Miranda Hotel, which we'll probably just confirm on the Discord channel this week and talk about that next week, won't we, fellas? The Sharkies have won their last 4 against the Rabbitohs. And the Rabbits have actually lost something like 7 matches in a row, so they are in like terrible form. There is nothing like a match against the Sharks, though, to put a team back into form. Notable big matches in recent history is that South's Week 2 final elimination when we were knocked out in 2022. And when you think about Souths, I guess the more recent memories is certainly the return of the Peach and him carving us up as a South Sydney player. They've named a familiar-looking Sharks lineup with Chris Vaila on the extended bench, and we're without Britton Nikora, who's out with a HIA. Other than that, they're probably looking as you'd expect them in terms of a team lineup. Let's go check out the Sharks team lineup here. Franko, what do you make of that team? What you'd expect, really?
What you'd expect. The only difference there and not on screen is the extended bench, made up of Jaden Beryl, Chris Viella, Huepa Peru, Sam Stonestreet, and Nephi Peru. Obviously Burns can't come into the squad for Atkinson, so hopefully Huepa does that role and swaps into the bench. Other than that, yeah, it's as copy and paste as you can get with the squad that we've got at the moment. So Ramian back. It is a hamstring injury that they were talking about. Hopefully that's not a bit early. Hamstrings traditionally,
Don't do it, Sharks.
you feel as though they're good, but they're not actually good when you stretch out. So Vale's still there on the extended bench, means that maybe he could swap in for Ramian sort of closer to time. But yeah,
He was training the other day.
Hopefully we don't risk him. I guess my call out as well is I've certainly had my piece about how good I think Billy Burns has been going for the Sharks this season, and I think he's been a bit of an unheralded hero for us. That's been playing on Wilton's edge. This is having him on Nikera's edge. Last time he was on Nikera's edge that I can recall, we got beaten by the Tigers. So hopefully it's not another case of that, because we did see the Roosters sort of expose that edge between Burns and Hines a little bit. So bit of practice, bit of shoring up what that edge defense will look like with the new combination there. Fingers crossed they've got it sorted.
He did get a nice little play there, though, in attack.
That's true.
He did. Whether or not it was double movement or not is up to you.
No. Lads, who needs to stand up in this team?
Mate, Nico needs to continue his streak. Well, I won't say that word.
Nico's been pretty good, hasn't he?
He's been brilliant. That's what I'm saying. He needs to continue it. He's done it for 2 weeks now, and it's been great. Brayley's been awesome. Look, mate, surely we can win this one. He's out of form, but Nico's taking the game by the horns and he's managing. So I don't mind seeing Trindle being a bit quieter and not taking as much control, because Nico's doing a job. Look, I think Franko's right. I think Billy Burns needs to stand up. He was exposed there a bit in offence, and hopefully, after playing there for majority of the match last week, he'll be a bit more comfortable. Hopefully, Huepa comes in for Atkinson. I'd like to see that as a late change, and I don't want to risk Ramian either. Vayela did a job. I think he'll be a bit more confident. I think he'll probably go, if he does get a run, probably go for a bit more work from the back. And he scored a nice little try there the other day. I can't remember the last time Ramian scored. So
Daniel Atkinson, he must be the most unpopular Sharks player now amongst the Sharks fans. It's a bit unfair, Franco. I'll get you to make a comment on that again.
No, don't want to. I've done it to death. It's not about the player. It's not about the talent. It's just not fitting a role that we need.
That's all that needs to be said, isn't it? All right, let's check out this South team. Here they are, the Rabbits. Jai Gray, Alex Johnston. He's apparently signed a 2-year deal with them because they obviously want to get him past that try-scoring record. I kind of don't want him to get that try-scoring record. Lads, what's your take on that?
I'd love him to pull up equal and just stop scoring tries. No, look, mate, it's there to go for. It's his name will be written in lights. I can't see anyone beating him anytime soon. So maybe Ronnie one day, but he hasn't been scoring much either lately. Look, Johnson's awesome, mate. He's still got plenty of footy left in him, so I think he'll pass that easily, probably by the end of the
I
year.
imagine there's a little bit of a sneaky handshake agreement behind the scenes that he's been given time to break the record. If he breaks the record, maybe it's time to step aside and retire after breaking the record for someone young coming through, if there is someone young coming through. Because yes, he's still good. He's still got what it takes, but 2 years from now for a winger, the injuries he's had, he's going to lose a step or two of pace. As far as breaking the record, look, I'm a little bit more pragmatic about it. If he was taking the record from a player from another team, I'd be a little bit more, I don't want him to get it. But it's a record with a Rabbits team anyway, so they're keeping it in the family. It doesn't really mean much.
Isn't Ken Irvine? I thought Ken Irvine was North Sydney.
I'm pretty sure he's Bunnies.
Oh, let's see. There we go. Debut team, North Sydney.
Whoa,
Boldo's favourite.
shot me down.
Yeah, well, look, you're really wrong, Franco, but North Sydney doesn't have very many. North Sydney doesn't have very many records.
Well, now we know we got to get that record beat so that Boldo's got one less thing to cheer about.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
His
fair
favourite
enough.
team.
Now, other highlights in this South team. This Lewis Dodd halfback. He's like this overseas guy that they heralded was going to be really good. Who's hardly played a game, hasn't he? Other than that, they're a bunch of. I'm not too familiar with this Rabbits team. I don't want to call anyone out because every time I call a player out, I have a great game. Maybe Lewis Dodd's going to carve us up now.
Look, mate, I only know one player on that bench. Look, Tallis Duncan's been doing a job in the centres and in the second row there, but mate, Jack White, and I think he's had about 11 or 12 games in the halves, won none of them, and yeah, they don't look very threatening, mate. If we don't put a cricket score on these guys, write us off now because there's something wrong.
Yeah,
Jack White.
I don't know if anyone said that Dodd was a superstar or a champion or whatever. They were a little bit of all sorts when they signed him, and it was just on the verge of getting Bennett across as well. So it might not have been part of Bennett's long-term coaching plans. This is his first time named at 7. He's had a few opportunities sort of in and around the team, but this is the first actually named in 7. Whether he does well or not, he's probably playing for his NRL career, whether it's with the Bunnies or some other team, because if this doesn't go well, he's likely going to be shopped back to Super League. Jai Gray, Latz's mate, who I think you've said may end up in a Sharks jersey.
He's awesome.
He was on fire before Mitchell came back. And so maybe watch out for him. Nippy, advantageous, so keep an eye out. As you've just discussed, Alex Johnson, put him down for a meaty if it's good or not to win the game.
We're going to cover. They're going to cover Alex Johnson. He doesn't score against the Sharks.
Yeah, except he has pretty much every time we play them. So, but yeah, look, this is one of those games where I think
Don't do it, Sharks.
We talked about the Roosters when they were a nothing team during Origin and should have absolutely romped that home, but we got belted pillar to post. So there's every opportunity as a Sharks fan to go, yeah, we should win this. But
yeah, don't be surprised to see Shaq Mitchell a late inclusion on the bench either. I hear he's fit.
Here we go. Chad Smith's backing you up here, Franco. Irvine was with Manly and North. Perhaps Franco was thinking of Mike Cleary from South, who played when Irvine did. That's who you were thinking of, isn't it, Franco?
Must have been. Thanks, Chad. I'll take that one, mate.
Scott Brady pointing out in the comments that our wingers now have the record for most tries by a winger duo. That's pretty true. They're on something like 150 all up combined, so that'll be good. Harley's commenting Sharks by 22 points. And Chad's also commenting, we lose nothing with Billy Burns. Ideal replacement for Nicola. Billy Burns was pretty good, so hopefully we do have that easy game in Gosford, Matt. Let's give us a tip.
Mate, Sharks by 30.
Oof.
I took 13 plus last week and because of the Chad, and we got there.
30 plus. So you're tipping debrief after that match will be empty. No one will want to watch after a shellacking like that. They'll be too busy having a good time celebrating.
Driving home from Gosford or Miranda Hotel, mate. Or getting a cab home from Miranda Hotel, hopefully not leaving the hat behind.
Don't leave the hat behind. Learn from my mistakes. Yeah, look, we say it with a bit of trepidation, but we should absolutely win this game. I'm maybe not a 30 plus guy like Lats, but I reckon 18 plus is a good shout out. We should be comfortably in control for this whole match, and if at any stage we're not, we're going to have to look at why that is, because I don't think they've got a lot to throw at us.
Fair enough. I reckon Nico breaks the point scoring record in a single match by a Shark this weekend. We are going to absolutely trounce South Sydney. They have got no hope. But look, we've been wrong before. I don't know. We comfortably dealt with the Roosters and the Dolphins. These Souths are a tier or two below these guys. They've lost 7 matches in a row. They're not going to come close to us. I'm pretty confident. But I've been wrong before, so who knows? All right, get your comments get your tips rather into the comment section. Let us know what you think the Sharks are going to do. Who's your man of the match, and all your fun tips that we can get on with. And we will get on with the rest of the show with the league roundup. Now, we don't have any slides from Chris this week, and I actually found the league roundup and the shows on KO with NRL 360 and Maddie and Cronk show pretty pedestrian, actually. It's like the rugby league's just gearing up towards the end of the season. On Monday night, the lead story was Buzz and bloody Brent Reid just arguing about the rules. Don't know if we really want to revisit the rules of the NRL, do we, Franko? That's been done to death, hasn't it?
Can I just say, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I hate it when the press or reporters talk about the fans as though they're the mouthpiece for the fans. Fans hate this. Fans can't stand this. It's ridiculous. We all know they're trying to sell papers. The whole crackdown of the play the ball being basically tunnel balled was started because they in the media complained about the Penrith advantage, that the Penrith were so good at getting quick play the balls and not attempting to play the ball correctly off the back of 4 grand finals, that this had to change and that the NRL had to do something about it. Well, the NRL does something about it, and then 6 months later, the press are complaining about, the bloody refs are too fiddly and nitpicky in the play the ball area. It's just the secular nature of the press, where they find something, pick at it till it changes. Then when it changes, pick at why it shouldn't have changed. I can't stand it. That's what I hate more than bloody arguing about the rules. I hate the press and the way they do it.
Well, the press, even with the way that the journos are seen as celebrities and put on as experts. There's actually a certain skill with being a journalist.
Nowhere near as good as podcasters, that's for sure. Now they're all getting on it.
Well, now they're journalists and podcasters.
Usually only the ones that have been banished from journalism become podcasters. Paul.
Who does your head in as the journalist turned podcasts turn contributor on these TV shows? Lass, who does your head in?
Oh, Journo?
Yeah.
Buzz Rothfield. I know he's a fan of the Sharks.
Fan of the show.
Fan of the show. He's probably watching right now. But one thing in his defence, I hate how they all take the absolute piss out of him on NRL 360. It's a bit of a bullying tactic, and they take the absolute piss out of him.
They do bully him. Braith and Asta goes at him.
Yeah, 100%. And probably Braith. Probably Braith's the one that does my head in the most, I'd have to say.
Well, I don't like that Braith's got the agent relationship with Munster and a few of the other ones, and then is also on TV. I just find that a little underhanded and just classic rugby league, just too many fingers in pies, Phil Gould type stuff.
Yep.
I just don't like it. The other big news, I guess, is Kevin Walters is the Kangaroos coach. Don't know if that's going to necessarily help Blake Rayleigh make the the Kangaroos at the end of the season. Maybe we'll see more Queenslanders in it. Franko, do you even care about Kevin Walters being the Kangaroos coach?
Oh, it screams a little bit of job for the boys, but ultimately there's not a lot of choice. I feel as though Kangaroos at that level versus pretty much any other tier 1 nation coaches itself. You've got to do something pretty wrong to lose that. Kevy will be fine. You've just got to have a bit of a motivational speech before a game and let them go out there and do their thing, especially for the one-offs where the other teams don't get a string of games to build up cohesion. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'd rather watch him as Kangaroos coach than watch him commentate on the Broncos. It's just cringy. It's a bit embarrassing. It's, yeah. He'd love to be back in that coaching box.
Let's chat NRLW. The Sharkies girls went down to the Cowboys, finding a way to not take it at the death. 16 points to 14. Penatani just couldn't get that ball away. I watched the game. I thought it was a little error-filled. To be honest, reminded me of the damn men's team. So normally make the joke of, Sharks, you can't say you're playing like girls because the girls team always win. Well, now they're playing like the boys because they're error-riddled team. Franko, panic stations for the Sharkies NRLW team, or are we just getting worried too early?
No, as you said, that wasn't a bad loss the way round 1 was against Parramatta. But the thing that you've got to remind yourself is that the NRLW is a shorter season than the NRL, and every win counts a little bit more than what we're used to. So before
Small
you know
sample
it,
size sport, isn't it?
Yeah, before you know it, you're out of the 8 and struggling. So it's one of those things where I would say that no, definitely not panic stations. We've still got a very good team, I believe. We're just finding our feet. There's a little bit of shuffling around going on. We'll come good.
Yeah, they brought Anessa Biddle back into the team and then shuffled a bunch of other players with that prop that just hit to Carter, who got the HIA knock. So, Ellie Johnson, she's just so bloody strong and tough for those characters. She's probably my favourite of the Sharkies girls. And then I think Jada Taylor's 1 week away. So Jada Taylor will certainly help them if she can get back to her winning ways.
Is she going back into fullback, Boldo? And Barron into the halves? How did we see her coming back?
I think you probably do that. Or maybe you put her on the wing and just have a chill out for a couple of weeks.
Barron's been absolutely awesome from fullback.
She has been very good. Tough to say. Lats, do the Sharkies girls still make the playoffs? I think they do.
Mate, it's round 4, mate. We've got still, another 8 weeks to go, or not 7-8 weeks to go. It's 11-week regular competition, isn't it?
Yeah.
Memory? Mate, not panic stations yet. We should roll the Tigers pretty comfortably this week. Look, we're $1.25 favourites. As you said, Biddle's coming back into the team. She's awesome, try-scoring weapon. Good to have there in the centre, and mate, we'll be fine. We lost the
West Tigers last year, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah. The West Tigers, yeah, God. All right, come on, Sharkies girls, don't do it to us. We've already got one team that breaks our heart all the time. So if you could please not do that, that would be terrific. All right. Yours truly hosts trivia down at Sharks at Cronulla tomorrow night from 6:30. The first 2 rounds of trivia are kids friendly, so they will be recent Sharks trivia. So anyone from basically the age of 5 should be able to answer most of those questions. So that'll be good fun. I did have a trivia round, which I've decided to remove because I just didn't think it was appropriate. So I was going to do a round of trivia where the heads had happened in 2009, boobs it didn't happen in 2009. And if the Sharks fans, if you can remember what happened in 2009, you will remember there was a whole bunch of pain in terms of where we were. So actually, I might let Lats and Franko actually discuss it in terms of a team rather than having them go head to head. So
Matty Williams has promised our listeners a whole episode on 2009 at some stage, and there's no lack of content to cram into that
there is
episode.
absolutely none. All right. So did this happen in 2009 or not? Peter Gow cut up the Dragons jersey. Yes or no?
It did not.
That did not. That was 10 years earlier. Did the Sharks get cited for the group sex scandal in 2009?
Which group sex scandal?
Is that the Auckland one?
Yes.
Matty John's one? Yeah.
Ooh, it's not remotely funny.
Did they get cited for that in 2009?
I think they did.
They did, Franco. There you go. 2 from 2. Next one. The Sharks then CEO allegedly punched the female employee incident. Did that happen in 2009?
I'm going to say yes.
I know it was in the press in 2009. Yeah, let's go with yes. It was certainly in the press.
Oh, Franco, you were so close. It happened in 2008. It was in the press in 2009. So I should have cut you off and given you that answer because you had it, which was it happened. Yeah, there it is. Matt actually comes through in the comments. Yep, the shadow boxing. All right, did this happen in 2009 or not? LG withdrew their sponsorship on the front of the Sharks jersey.
Where's CK when you need him? They sure did.
They sure did.
Got all the fans to pose with LG hats, save our Sharks. And then
that was after. Was that after the announcement of the scandal?
Very next day, They dumped this as a sponsor after getting Backpage, LG on everyone. Well played.
Well played. All right, that was 2009. Clint Elford, the terminally ill fan, was set to save the club from financial crisis. Did that happen in 2009? Can you imagine if I turned up at Sharks in Cronulla and did this as a segment? Trivia. I just couldn't do it. It was very funny, though.
What an annus horribilis that year was.
Did that happen in 2009? Clint Elford?
Yes, it did,
unfortunately. Did happen in 2009. That's right. So he had the scandal where the guy apparently made up that he had cancer and then was going to give the money. All right, number 6. Damien Irvine took control of the Cronulla Sharks Club as the chairman of the board. Did that happen in 2009?
Ooh. Well, you would know very well, wouldn't you, Boldo, about that one?
I definitely know the answer to that one.
Was it end of 09 or beginning of the next year? Yeah, I think it was 09. I think it was 09.
Oh, geez, you're good. Yeah, pretty good. And if Franco, you're going to come down to trivia tomorrow night and be a guest for someone's table.
That was peak Shark viewing for Franco in 2009. It was a train wreck that you just couldn't take your eyes off.
All right, the last question. The Sharks finished last. Did that happen in 2009 or not?
It did not.
That's correct, Franco. They were second last.
Thanks to the Roosters bombing.
Oh, you're so good, Franco.
Yeah. New historian.
Jeez, you're good. Are you reading the notes?
No. There was maybe rumors about them potentially betting scandal and throwing the game. That they should have won, but they didn't, and we avoided the spoon because of it.
That's right. That comes in and correctly points out that was also the year the Chaser broke into the ground and made the group sex announcement over the PA. That also did happen. And
wasn't it also we had the sponsor as well, the guy that sold sex toys.
Con Ange was in.
Con Ange, yeah. He was in the change rooms with the boys. Yeah, not a great year for the Sharks. Not a high moment for us.
That's definitely true. And then they also had Rennie Batua getting sacked. All right, let's move on to the last segment, which is anything that we missed. And I'm gonna Let's go to JFP's comment here. What's needed from here to have a good crack at the finals? JFP, I'm going to answer that question by bringing up the team list again and just looking at it from this point of view. JFP, if we're going to have a good crack at the finals, we need to find the consistency in the error-free football. So we know that that's Fitz's plan, and just to be consistent and just not have error-ridden football. We saw the success of Queensland in the State of Origin. Manly did it to the Melbourne Storm the other night. I think there's a few players who have got serious upside in this team that are nowhere near their potential. So we've seen William Kennedy at the start of the season was in blistering form. I think our wingers, Katoa and Mulatalo, are miles away from being in their absolute best form. I'd say Trindle can definitely get better. I'd say Fanilla Blake can probably find a way to be more cohesive with the team, but he's been pretty good.
Just on Fanilla Blake, Boldo.
Yeah.
Just on Fanilla Blake, I love what I saw from him the other night when Chris Veier scored.
That was good.
He's usually a pretty solo sort of guy. He ran in there, and he was so excited for him. And it was awesome to see. It's like he looked really connected to the team. It was awesome.
And then lastly, Hamlin-Uele needs to get better. Franco, what's your take on what's needed to have a good crack at the finals?
I'm gonna propose a hypothetical, which is more a rhetorical question. Ramian has not had a good season to date. We know he's got it in him, so he needs to lift. But if he doesn't lift in the next few weeks before KL gets back, do you leave Talakai in the centres and put KL in instead of Ramian and run that as our centre pairing? Now, obviously, we all know that that's not going to happen. Talakai straight to the bench, but it's probably worth considering because Talakai hasn't been too bad in the centres. He hasn't let us down as we knew he wouldn't. But yes, Ramian
needs good last week, Talakai, wasn't he? Without being like lots of run meters and those hit-ups. And Talakai on the field for 80 minutes. He seems to be remembering what it's like to be an 80-minute player.
Yeah, so
pretty good.
That's certainly something I would look to. And then obviously just the usual back of season stuff, a full healthy squad just hitting their straps at the right time. So we've got a good soft draw, or at least a good run home, we'll call it. We've had the bye, we've freshened up. Let's put into practice everything we've been training. Cliche. Whole new season starts round one of the finals, and we go from there.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. Lats?
Yeah, mate. Look, I think Trindle really needs to stand up a bit more. I know I said before I don't mind him taking a back seat, but Ronnie's barely seeing the ball. He hasn't scored in 6 weeks. I think Braden Hamlin-Uele needs more sticky spray because he's doing my head in these last couple of weeks. Look, Teague Wilton's just starting to hit his straps again after coming back from injury. Hines needs to continue his rich vein of form that he's found, and Brayley going forward. AFB, it needs to become a bit more cohesive with the team. But I liked what I saw last week. Toby Rudolph has been awesome. I wouldn't mind seeing Toby start over Oregon, to be honest.
Toby off the bench, his impact's pretty useful. Some good experience.
I think so. Having Talakai in the centres when Kale comes back, Talakai drops back to the bench for that impact. And but yeah, I just love the intensity Toby's bringing of late. It's been awesome.
So if Kale Hero comes into the team, then Talakai takes the Atkinson spot, and you'd have to think Tom Hazelton takes the Colquhoun spot, wouldn't you, Franco? Or does he take the Hamlin-Uele spot?
I think he would take Hamlin-Uele at this stage. Jesse Colquhoun is a bit of a coach's favourite, and he's not put a foot wrong, so I can't see any reason why he would be dropped.
Except they didn't name Colquhoun in the second row for Nickera, but I guess Colquhoun's bigger than that. He's not really a second row anymore, is he?
Yeah, but also you've got to remember that Burns has been playing longer minutes for this whole season. Colquhoun came back from injury, and since then he's only been playing about 40 minutes.
And Burns has been playing longer minutes.
I think Colquhoun brings more impact off the bench than Burns does. I'd prefer to see Burns playing in that second row position.
I got something else for you, Franco. Nico's kicking at 75% this season.
Okay.
Previous seasons he's been as high as 85%. So 10% drop off. He's taken 5 kicks in a game, it's a point. Might be.
Well, I can think of maybe one game we lost due to conversions, but other than that, I don't think we've been punished too hard for that one.
Not yet, we haven't, but in the matches where the margins are closer.
Yeah. One of the things that I think, if you want to go down that path, is we've sort of complained about our field goal options. We can certainly get better than that. Ironically, Trindle has kicked more field goals this season than any other player, with 3. Unfortunately, none of them have come under pressure or clutch to win a game. They've all just been, the back end of a half or the end of a game where no one's expecting it and there was no real rush. So we've just got to make sure that we are prepared both in attack and defense for those 1-point games, because we saw 2 years in a row getting knocked out of the finals due to field goals or lack thereof in chasing down a kicker. So something I'd be like to be aware of as well.
All right, Sharks. Get your comments in as well. I'd love to see what you guys think. What do you think the Sharks need to do? And can I just say, JFP, great question. So it comes in late, hasn't commented all show, just waltzes in, comes through with what would have been if we were doing the comment prize. I think we would have given that to JFP. All right. That is pretty much everything from this show. Reminder, trivia, Sharks at Cronulla tomorrow night. We'll be live after full time for the debrief this week at probably 9:30, 9:45, something like that. Anything else from you, lads, or are we done?
All good here, mate. Just I'd like to say how young and fresh Franko's looking. I thought his 12-year-old brother had rocked up to do the show for a minute. So nicely clean-shaven Franko there.
What's the boilerplate, Franko, lads? So it's not
there
actually
you go.
Franko.
Okay, so it's not as good as the original, though.
It's not as good as the
Bit
original.
rough. I don't know if it's clean shaven, but yeah, you'd certainly card me at the bar if I was cleanly shaven. But yeah, no, I've
Can we ask Franko? Did your dad have a good birthday over the weekend?
Yeah, mate, I think he did. Sharky's win helps anyone's birthday, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's pretty grumpy when the Sharks lose type fan, or at least he has been known to be. Is he a bit better mannered these days, Mr. Franko?
He's just a grumpier man that gets grumpier as he ages. So no, I think he's all right. Sharks win was good. Kids were in bed, didn't interrupt him, so happy days. Yeah, I guess I've got a quick one that I thought was a little bit interesting. With Greg Inglis's Stick With It campaign coming up in round 22, a mental health initiative. They're getting all the clubs together to sort of back that and support his initiative. I'm not trying to pick a side or say that it's anything against it, disparagingly against it, because it's all for a good cause and it's certainly something that needs more awareness. But you got to wonder how Nicho Hynes is feeling with his mental fitness round that he's started for the last 2 years with the Sharks, and basically being around, but only for the Sharks team and whoever they're playing against, to sort of try and get awareness for mental fitness and mental health, to then, I guess, be trumped by Inglis to come in with whoever knows who's backing him and what connections he's got to just go, yep, this is now seemingly a full league initiative backed by Inglis and his own foundation. So I feel a bit for Nicho, and this is sort of the main reason why I'm bringing it up. But it's also, it is for a good cause. So let's support both, and hopefully it's not something that sort of pushes Nicho aside. And I think it's the Find Your Feet Foundation pushes them aside so they don't get to go through their educational videos and whatnot that they do or have been doing the last couple of years.
Look, I think Franko would be happy to see the round. And given him a current player, I guess the league can't really bow down to every player's want of a round, a dedicated round across the whole league. Maybe when Nicho retires, he will get that round. But yeah, I think he'll be happy regardless that there's been light shed upon the upon this subject.
I
And,
imagine so, mate.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that it's so close to the end of the season.
I mean, it's got to fit somewhere,
So-
doesn't it? So, we don't know what happened behind
Yeah,
the
they're
scenes.
gearing
or
up
how it's
towards the
come about.
finals now, though. But yeah, I guess that's probably right. Well, look, it's all the good calls, and certainly that mental fitness and health, and that's pretty important, and something for us to think about, because a lot of us have gone through a whole bunch of challenges. Life can certainly be pretty tough at times, and so whilst the three of us present pretty strong characters on the ET stand at times, it's not always bells, whistles, and roses for everyone. So if you are having a tough time, do reach out to your mates. There are plenty of people around you in life, and yeah, it's for a good cause. So hopefully the NRL, Nico can get behind it. All right, that was the ET stand. The Sharkies head towards the final series, hopefully on a streak, as they take on South Sydney Rabbitohs at 7:35 p.m. at Gosford. You can still get tickets to that game, I think, so do get up there and support the Sharks if you can. Sharks are always well supported up there in Gosford from our Central Coast Sharks fans. For those that are watching, you can get down to Miranda Hotel and also check us out on the debrief. This was the ET stand. See me at Sharks Cronulla tomorrow night for trivia. Up Cronulla.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.